What's up, y'all? Peace. Okay, you know what I'm saying? So they September 13th is when they gonna like put the gonna make it mandatory to be vaccinated to go to places where people gather. Like movie theaters and restaurants. Not every place is gonna require that. Just those places in general. Like I said in my other video, I'm a boycott, and I think most people should boycott. But it's up to every individual if they want to get vaccinated or not. You know what I'm saying? I believe in freedom of choice. And I knew that this was going to happen. I knew from the very beginning that, first off, like I said in my other video, the media has lied before. You know what I'm saying? And how many more times are gonna believe what the media says if they're only getting their sources from the FBI or the CDC, or depending on what the subject matter is, So we still got a long way in this country before we start like questioning the media, and we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Some of us are, but most of us are still not. And so it's gonna have to be a tug of war thing when it comes for information, because that's what it all comes down to, information. And like I said, I knew they were gonna, once they get the third shot, which is the booster shot. Booster shot is really a third shot. I call it a third shot. I don't know why they're calling it a booster shot. It's a third shot. Last week, they interviewed some local doctor here in New York City, and he was like, we're going to need a fourth shot, a fifth shot, a sixth shot, and I know there's going to be people rolling up the sleeves, taking all them goddamn motherfucking shots, because we slaves, we mental slaves, you know what I'm saying? The media, the people who run this country, the people who run certain institutions, they know the American people, the American public are not that educated. A lot of us are, but a lot more are not. You know what I'm saying? And I never finished college, but I'm educated. I know what's going on. I read a lot, history and present time. I don't have time to read everything, obviously, but I knew once that doctor said, well, we're going to need a fourth shot, a fifth shot, I told everybody that. I told some people I know that. And they didn't believe me. So now it's going to happen. Now they're going to try to push in a fourth shot, a fifth shot. They're going to try to roll out 2 more shots by the end of the year, you know what I'm saying? And maybe 1 more after next year. And they're going to make that mandatory. I know that. That's why it's important for the pushback. And this pushback here in New York City. They had a rally in City Hall. I wanted to go down there. I should have went down there, woke up early, did what I had to do and go down there. And it's mostly a lot of educators, teachers. And then there was another rally, I believe that same day, in Columbus Circle. A whole group of other people who are against the vaccine. And so there's already pushback. It's already police officers, fire department guys, sanitation people, including my cousin who works in sanitation. They're all pushing back. And there's going to be a lot more pushback. And yeah, it might go back to, it's going to be interesting, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to come down to the cops cracking down on protests, probably, maybe, because the police officers are city workers too. So their job is just to do what the city wants them to do, what the mayor wants them to do. But at the same time, there's a lot of cops that are, against the mandatory vaccines and really don't believe a lot of stuff that's coming out of the media, and they shouldn't. And I already did 2 videos about the media, two different subject matters, so I don't really have to explain it too much. Y'all know, a lot of intelligent people follow me. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to get crazy right now. And the pushback, I don't know what the pushback is gonna do, but I know the government is gonna push back harder. And you know, I don't know if it's gonna end up like last year, because last year was different. You know, you had a lot of stupid anarchists and teenagers running around doing stupid shit. You know what I mean? Teenagers from out, probably in some of the neighborhoods I lived in and stayed. You know what I'm saying? But you know, and just for the record, you know, most of it, half of the people in New York City and Jersey, northern New Jersey, who are against the vaccines are people of color. So this is not a political issue, you know. And you know, you got like a YouTube channel, a YouTube news show called, or an online news show called TYT. And TYT is basically, I used to follow them, and I actually thought that they was not a good, it was like an alternative version to the 10 o'clock news. It was kind of interesting. A lot of things they did get right. But looking at it now, they're basically the online version of CNN and MSNBC, because they support the Democratic Party. They convinced everybody to vote for Hillary. They were calling agreeing with Hillary, who's a war criminal, that Tulsi Gabbard is an asset of Russia, just like Trump. So TYT's and have been pushing for the vaccine mandates, and you know, hasn't said anything about the petition to arrest people for not being vaccinated, which I told you about in my other video. And Democracy Now!, Amy Goodman, hasn't said anything about it either. She hasn't questioned the constitutional aspect of if it's right to force people to get vaccinated, if it's right to deny anybody that hasn't been vaccinated into a restaurant or a movie theater, which is the dumbest thing I ever heard. There's no science behind that. So, you know, I don't do political videos, you know what I'm saying? Political vlogs. It's not political. This affects me. That's why I'm talking about it, you know? Could be talking about some hip-hop shit, but I'm not. I'm talking about this, you know what I'm saying? When I do my music, but I'm talking about this because this affects everybody. And at the end of the day, I care about humanity, you know what I'm saying? I care about what goes on in the world. And I don't like what's going on. And so I do see that the police departments around the country is going to be interesting, because I know a lot of cops are not going to be supportive of everything Anthony Fauci is saying. But I think the protest, because people are going to get tired, people are not going to want to be told what to do. People know when they're being lied to. They're going to get angrier. When things don't change, they get to the streets, and then it comes cops. Then, you know, smoke, I don't know what you call them, smoke bombs and all that. Or broken glass like that. You know what I'm saying? There's always something happening when I do my vlogs. Always. But, yeah, it's gonna get crazy. That's what I predict. Or that's what I feel is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And so let's see what about that. But yeah, it's gonna be, and then also I think there's gonna be a lot of lawyers, a lot of professional people are gonna start questioning whether or not this is the right thing to do. Because a lot of nurses and doctors, I do blame a lot of nurses and doctors for lying about a lot of things and mistreating patients and letting them die, or putting them in a ventilator when you know the science shows that ventilators actually can kill you, or mislabeling somebody's death a COVID-19 death when it really was a pneumonia death or an asthma attack death or bronchitis or anything other that may be similar, any kind of like lung infection, you know. And all you gotta do is look at the numbers and just question it. Like 2 years ago, we had an epidemic in this country, but definitely in New York City, to the point where so many people died from influenza that they had to put the beds outside of hospitals. I remember that. It was 2018. So, over 40,000 people died in this country that year from influenza. I believe that was from 2017 to 2018. And even then, they were trying to push the masks and the vaccines. There was talk of that, and I remember seeing especially Asian people wearing masks on the trains and shit. So over 40,000 people died in this country. I think it's way more than over 40,000. It could have been 100,000, but I don't want to overdo it. But it was probably close to 100,000 people who died from influenza, supposedly, of course. And then the next year, I don't know if it was as high, but it was plenty. I think it was like between 22,000 or 40,000 people that died. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Then all of a sudden, after COVID-19 hit, only one person died from influenza in this country. That don't make sense. And I checked it out myself. I checked it through the worldometer.org and checked influenza death. Only one person died last winter. In 2020 in general. Early winter and then late winter. Going into 2021, only one person died from influenza. That doesn't make sense to me, you know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, that's common sense would tell you that the number is not just going to go down completely like that. And people would say, oh, the vaccines are working, that's why only one person died from influenza. That's bullshit. Numbers don't just go all the way down like that. You know what I'm saying? So, people have to think. Some people in social media and YouTube comment section, that none of my videos, but in other videos, that think I'm lying, they think they don't know what I'm talking about. It's got to be a combination of the science backing it up and then common sense. I mean, we all have a brain, you know what I'm saying? We all have a brain, we think, you know what I'm saying? Don't attack people when they're questioning something that the mainstream media is pushing, because let's keep it real, everything that the mainstream media has been pushing for a long time, since the Japanese Americans were being put in internment camps. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Or the media in the South, how overtly racist they were. But in general, we could go back to World War II, how the media never questioned our bombings of Nagasaki and Okinawa. And even before that, the media barely talked about how we incinerated Tokyo. So the media has been complicit in covering up crimes against humanity. And the media has no credibility, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? They have no credibility. Of course, I know about Operation Paperclip, but in general, newscasters don't seem to question what they're reading off the teleprompter. The producers are not even questioning where they're getting the information from. They're not questioning the FBI. They're not questioning the CDC. In this country, in the democracy, you're supposed to question official authority, especially if you know it doesn't make sense. So, if the shit is not making sense, you gotta question it. So, if people are attacking me, that means, or attacking anybody that's questioning it, like, I'll bring something else up. Seth Rich, who I believe was the DNC leaker, was found murdered in D.C. under mysterious circumstances. Supposedly it was a botched robbery. That's what the D.C. police said. I don't believe that. I know too much about history to not believe that. And the police are often pressured to cover up a murder. The Dallas police were pressured to make Oswald guilty. You know, Memphis police, same thing. Although I would say in the case of the King assassination, I would say that some of those police officers were probably involved. So, but you see that this is what I'm saying. So, the only time the media questions anything is when a police officer does something wrong. That's when they question something. But then the media, when the FBI says they're gonna get involved, and the media says, "Oh, the FBI is getting involved," as if the FBI has any credibility either. I mean, if you know anything about COINTELPRO, that was FBI and police assassinating black leaders. And I believe that's what happened with Martin Luther King Jr. That was a COINTELPRO operation with the help of the Army intelligence and the CIA. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do video. I still gotta do those other videos, but I just been real busy. But so the media, you know, and I think many civil rights leaders and leaders in general, I think they sold out. They sold out my peoples. They sold out African Americans and Puerto Ricans. Just period. They sold them out. But in general, they shouldn't be trusted either. You know, how can you lead a protest about police brutality and think that getting the FBI involved is gonna do anything or it's not, because the FBI themselves have been complicit on crimes against black people in the past, including breaking into people's homes without search warrants. It wasn't just the police that was doing that for a long time. The FBI was doing that for a long time. I mean, for decades. So, I mean, the FBI has a separate department to go after people who investigate or trying to look into the King assassination. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the media should not be trusted at all, and the alternative media should not be trusted anymore. You know, anything on any so-called news show on Channel 25. Even though I watch Channel 25, but any news show on PBS, period. Any news show that's sponsored by PBS, any news show like TYT being sponsored by somebody that's probably, you know what I'm saying, a greedy capitalist, should not be trusted. And I'm just, you know, it bothers me that so many people are quick to attack people like me, but not look into what I'm saying. I mean, it's not just about social media, YouTube. It's about everything. It's about reading books. It's about using your brain, using common sense. I mean, all this shit is and you know, when we get a little older, we tend to know more. You know what I'm saying? Including me. So I think we all have a responsibility, you know, to seek the truth. You know what I'm saying? Not when we have the time to, you know. But they're gonna push more vaccines on people. I believe there's definitely gonna be pushback, and it has to be pushback because it just can't go on. And I'm still refusing to get vaccinated. I'm not gonna get vaccinated. That's done. I ain't getting vaccinated. And people like my mother are scared because the media, that's what they do, is scare people. You know. And even with the JFK assassination, you know, one person killed Kennedy. That means they'll have to watch our back because you never know who's gonna kill who. So it creates fear amongst the people. You know, yeah, you cover up a political assassination, but then you by placing the blame on a regular individual that some people knew, you're making people fear each other. You know, and that's what they want. Divide and conquer, right? That's as old as the pyramids, divide and conquer. You divide people, it's easier to conquer. You know? That's why the French in the United States have been in Africa for so long. Because there's division in Africa. You know, there's division in the Ukraine. That's why we were able to take it over, overthrow the government, and put a government that we like. So that's why I see it happening. I said a lot in my other videos, but I don't know. I can't see it. I don't really have much to say this time. I knew Mario Cuomo was gonna go, so he's gone. I think we need to start talking about maybe removing Mayor de Blasio. You know, I don't know what's gonna go on here in Jersey City, because Jersey City is right across from New York City. I live in Jersey nowadays. I don't know what's gonna happen here either, but probably, from what I understand, de Blasio is being more harsher, and I think people have to really look at the truth. Don't just believe de Blasio just because he's a Democrat or his wife is African American. Has nothing to do with that. has nothing to do with that. If you're from New York, you know about the gentrification, right? De Blasio hasn't stopped the gentrification. He's supporting everything the landlords are doing. He's defending the landlords. You know what I'm saying? And who gets kicked out the most? People like us. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we forget how to think for ourselves and just look at a politician for who he is. He's a politician. So Mayor de Blasio doesn't know any better. He doesn't know. So I think people need to realize, if you look at the issue of gentrification in New York City and then combine this with the way he's shutting everything down, he's not that progressive. He's a capitalist, and at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So that's how I see it. But I think we need to start talking about removing Mayor de Blasio from the office. I think someone needs to start a petition. As harsh as it may sound, because he seems like a nice guy. His wife seems like a nice person. He got beautiful kids, but I mean, he's not understanding. If you don't understand what people really want, then you're gonna get what you ask for. You know what I'm saying? And he's gonna get pushback. De Blasio, you're gonna get pushback. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just keep telling people what to do over and over and over and over again. You can't. That's not how this country works. You know, if you know anything about history, you push people again and again and again, they're gonna push back hard, so hard that your ass is gonna fall off. You know what I'm saying? So I believe it's gonna get real tense, and I believe there's gonna be major pushback. Probably close to what we saw in France like a year and a half ago. I would say that. And that's what we need right now. You know, Mayor de Blasio need to be taught a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't fuck with the people. Don't make them do something they don't want to do. You know, if we had an influenza epidemic and you didn't force people to get vaccinated, why are you doing it now? Who's dying from Covid-19? Before they died, did they take the PCR test? If they did, then those PCR tests were false. You know what I'm saying? That shits didn't prove anything. So that means that half of those people that died didn't die from Covid-19. So, and then there's all kinds of shenanigans that go in the hospitals. And the hospital's the last place you want to be if you get sick. If you get sick and you go to the hospital, they're just going to make you sicker. Then you're going to catch some kind of infection in the hospitals. I mean, hospitals are not always clean. And doctors and nurses are stressed out. Some doctors and nurses are not always friendly. I wouldn't go to the hospital if I get sick. I got sick for 3 weeks 11 years ago in December. It's totally fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Throwing up. Couldn't breathe through my nose. Sneezing, coughing, everything. Headache, stomach pain, wheezing, because I used to have asthma. So yeah, my lungs were a little clogged too. Viral infection, everything. I lost like 40 pounds. The city was shut down because of the snowstorm. I was in Brooklyn at that time. I, so I just got better after 3 weeks. It took me a while to gain weight. I was still real skinny, and it took another month for me to be 100. But I didn't need a vaccine. I didn't go run for a vaccine. I went back to work as soon as I could, and I got better. You know what I'm saying? And it took me some years to get back with the weight. But that's what happens. You know what I'm saying? You let your body fight it. And I think that's why I don't have COVID-19, because I probably had a coronavirus that time, and my body recognizes it right away. If I got exposed to it in early 2020, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't take the test until a month ago, and I tested negative, so I took the rapid test. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. You know what I'm saying? Just look into shit. You know what I'm saying? Just look into shit. Don't be hard-headed. Don't be one-minded. You know, listen to what I'm saying. Because you know, even though I look like a teenager, I'm not 19. I've been around. Like, trust me when I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn, think for yourself, and just look at both sides, and then decide for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Don't let the media dictate everything, because the media is not the end or be all of information. We live in the digital age right now. Take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? Share it with people. You know, and yeah, that's what I wanted to say. I haven't done a video in a while. I actually did one video last night, and I just didn't like it, so I decided not to put it out. I'm real picky about how I come across, and if I mess up big time, I'm not gonna put it out the video. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to say. All peace.